Our backs. Okay. So start with your knees bent and feel those places where you're thoroughly connected to the ground. And with your exhales, just let go, relax. Start to turn inward and take a quick inventory of how you're feeling on all levels of your being, physical, but also your mental, emotional, and your energetic levels. So check out each of those levels and just kind of make a quick note for yourself. Let's just bring the hands together at the heart for a moment. And just salute the teacher within. Set your intention for your class. What is it that you need? What is your desire for having done this class? And then releasing the hands, bring the hands around your right knee and just draw your right knee in and up towards your right armpit. And then cross that right leg over the left. Stretch your left arm by your ear. And then drop your knees over to the right. Reach that left arm away from your trunk as you turn your head to the left. Feeling that arch, not pushing into it. And then bringing everything back. We'll just go back and forth about 5, 6 times. Kind of notice what your breath seems to want to do naturally. Like, do you inhale when you take your legs over and exhale and come up, or is it the opposite for you? It's really not a right or a wrong, but it's just a way of being mindful and present to your experience in the moment. It's kind of getting your mind used to the idea of staying here right now, not wandering off. And then finishing up your last one, come back to the center uncross your legs and just kind of take a breath and integrate. And then pull your left knee in. Cross it over the right. And take the right arm up by your ear. And then same thing on this side. And finish up on this last one. Come back to neutral. And just make sure you're aligned on your spine and then draw both of your knees into your chest. Just kind of widen your knees. Feel that tension at your hip creases. Contraction that you're creating, and just notice how that part of your body feels. Does it feel really tight or tired or achy? Just notice that, and then put your feet back on the floor. Separate your legs close to being as wide as the mat. If you're really tall, then wide as the mat. It's probably a good distance for you. And then just start to windshield wiper your legs from side to side. And as you continue with this, start to let your head go in the opposite direction as your knees. Try to be really relaxed about this. This is not, you shouldn't feel like exercise or work. It should just feel like, kind of be flopping around, letting your hips get loose, letting your neck loosen. And then come to the center, knees up, feet still wide. Take your arms up, clasp your elbows, and just keep your elbows over your shoulders. And then we'll take the head and the knees to the right, arms to the left, and go back and forth like that, kind of again, like you were doing, a little loosey-goosey, just involving the shoulders, warming them up as well. So the first part of this really loosened the low back and the neck. This really gets more to the mid back. Just notice if you feel this more in your shoulders, your mid back. And then come back to the center. And relax your arms and stretch your legs out now. But keep your legs wide. Turn your arm bones up, so really get those shoulder blades on your rib cage. And then roll your legs in. So turn your feet in, but turn them in from way up high and roll them out. And go pretty fast that way until you're kind of, again, just being real loosey-goosey and just turning your legs in and out really fast. Not controlling so much. And then relax again and bring your legs a little closer to one another. And we're going to come on to our right side and stretch those psoas muscles. So just laying on your right side, bring both knees up in line with your hips or even above your hips. And then just stretch the top leg, the left leg, right out in front of you. And then start to swing that leg back behind you. And you want to stay relaxed and loose in your torso. So your torso kind of swings a little bit with the leg in opposition. So when you take the leg back, let your torso kind of round towards the floor, go a little forward so that you can really get that leg back further than you could if you really kept your torso locked down and not moving. So we're trying to really go back as far as our bodies will let us. So really feel that extension in the hip joint, which is, we just don't get enough of that in our day-to-day life. It really does lock up our hips and our back. You really want to try to stay looser in that area. So now bring that leg back as far as you can while you let your torso roll towards the floor and then reach that left arm diagonally out of the shoulder joint. And really try to stay in your body, intuitively kind of listening to what is going to take you where your body knows you need to go. Not so much your head, but what your body knows you need, what it needs. And then come back, bring your right arm right out of the shoulder. Join your hands, and then start to sweep the left arm overhead, opening all the way up like a book to the left, sweeping it all the way back. Kind of noticing what your breath wants to do naturally. And then hold yourself open. Make any adjustments that makes this feel even better in your body. And then come all the way back and just roll on your back for a moment. Straighten your legs if you haven't already. And then we'll switch to the other side. So laying on your left side with the knees pulled up, arms stretched under your ear. And let's stretch that right leg straight out of the hip to the left, right over that left leg, and then start to swing it back. Just look for that stretch, that opening on the front of the hip. And again, the more you kind of let your trunk move with the hip, further back you may be able to go, and the more you will feel that hip flexor as well as your psoas, which is a hip flexor. I guess what I meant is your rectus femoris muscle, which is one of your quadriceps that crosses over the pelvis. It gets stretched. It's a hard muscle to stretch. So this really is helpful. This is one of those poses, if you did every day, your body would just feel so much better, and it would really be able to handle your daily demands much more easily. And over time you feel less stiff in the mornings when you get out of bed, because a lot of times that's an area where we are the stiffest in the morning. And then just hold that leg back and stretch the right arm diagonally out of the shoulder, and just breathe. And then come back with both legs and stretch that left arm now out of the shoulder. Join your hands and then begin to sweep the arm all the way to the other side and back. And then come back, or excuse me, hold it. Hold yourself open. Breathing. Rotating your upper trunk to the right as the lower trunk stays to the left. And then come on all the way back. And roll onto your back. Stretch your legs out. Let your arms relax. Just noticing after just about 10 minutes, your body probably feels different. So try to imagine just starting your day. You could do all of what we just did without even getting out of bed. Just think how much nicer your day would be if you started the day getting out of bed without feeling any stiffness and, just kind of more awake and your body more alive. You might follow that with, you might want to follow it with like a 10-minute walk or something. Now, it's these small habits that we incorporate into our lives that end up making the biggest difference when they're done just consistently. Doesn't need to be a lot, just needs to be consistent. Okay, so let's go ahead and come into child's pose. Stretch your arms forward. Raise your hips back. And then come up onto hands and knees. And take your hands a little further than your shoulder, than right under your shoulders. And then just push your hips back, take your head forward. You're not going into child's pose, you're just stretching your shoulders. And then come forward and go beyond your bent knees and do a little bit of a back bend. So go back and forth a few times, just pushing your hips back and then pressing them forward, just going to whatever feels good to you. I'm hearing all of my joints popping. Try to keep your shoulder blades down your back. And then this next time you go forward, roll your arm bones out strongly. So you're more on the outer edge of your hands, and then just let your thighs go down, let your elbows bend, and slowly lower yourself all the way down. Just reaching back through the legs. Press your pubic bones down. And then push back up and go back again towards child's pose. This time go all the way back to child's pose. And then stand up on your knees. Bring your right foot forward. And just ease it forward a little bit. And with your hands on your thighs, just push your hips forward again. A little bit of a lunge, and then push that front foot down to bring your hips back. And go forward again, feeling that stretch on the back leg. Be mindful so you're not letting that right knee go beyond your toes. And now just hold it here. Dropping the tailbone, lifting the front of your body. Deep lunge. You could put your hands on the floor if you need to or want to. Coming back. Now put your hands on the floor and bring that knee back. And sit back towards child's pose. And stand up onto your knees. Take your arms overhead this time. Interlace your fingers, take the palms up. Take that tailbone down. Relaxing your buttocks. And then release your arms. Step that left leg forward. Walk it a little more forward than your knee. Put your hands on your thigh. And just lunge forward. Feel that stretch on the right thigh. And go back. So rectus femoris, getting even more stretch. And it's thanking you. You can thank yourself for your dedication, your commitment to your well-being. We can all just be grateful that we have a life that supports self-care, learning, growing, being together. And then next time you go forward, just hold it. And then put your hands on the floor and bring that knee back. And go back to child's pose. And then coming forward again towards that cobra or up dog, slowly lowering yourself all the way down. Keep your hands in close to your rib cage. Reach back through your legs. And roll them in so you're on the very center of your thighs. And then just pull back on your hands like you're pulling your whole self forward like a snake. One of the reasons why this is called cobra. But we're going to actually, rather than lifting the head, lift the legs. Lift both legs, roll the thighs in. Keep the head close to the floor. You don't have to rest it on the floor. And then lower the legs down. Now, when you lift your legs up, try to lift them from right up where they meet your pelvis. Don't just lift them from the feet and the shins. In fact, the feet and the shins should just follow the upper legs. So pull back on your hands and lift the legs up and then relax the pull and let them come down. And do that again. So pull back on your hands, lift the legs, don't lift the head, keep the head close to the ground. And then lower them back down. Push down with your hands, go back to child's pose. Relax your elbows. Feel the energy that comes into your body after doing mild back bends like that. There's just start to identify these different sensations. What are those sensations? Which sensations are energizing? Which ones are relaxing? Okay, so let's go ahead and stand all the way up. And actually go ahead and get both your blocks. And let's take our legs, so you're standing longwise on your mat. Take your feet as wide as your mat. And just line that outer little toe and the outer heel up with your mat. So it kind of naturally is encouraging your thighs to rotate inwardly. Okay. And then it's always a little more challenging to try to drop your tailbone as you roll your thighs in. So that's what I want you to try to do here. I want you to be aware that this position of your legs naturally kind of encourages that internal rotation. Then I want you to add to it. And you'll feel more than likely your tailbone go back. So lift your front low belly up and try to relax your tailbone down. Don't grip your butt. Now inhale the arms up as you hold that. Keep that tailbone down. As you exhale, pull your hip creases and your inner thighs back. Reach forward with your arms to keep your balance and push out through your legs. Then just release your arms straight down to your blocks. Keep your head up. Don't take the head down unless that creates too much discomfort in your neck. Otherwise, keep doing that extension. So even though we're in a forward bend, we're trying to keep the back more in a back bend, a supported back bend, in the sense that we want to be consciously lifting the front of the body up to support the back of the body, but not so much that, we're rounding the back. We're letting the spine relax down, shoulder blades, draw down away from your ears. And the legs should be very active, kind of naturally, just because of all that you are trying to do in your upper body. And now pull your feet apart, stand up. And bring your legs back together. So now you're going to need a wall and your block. And just put your block on its long, narrow side, away from the wall, and sit on your block. And then with your knees bent, just reach around and see how far away the wall is. And you want it to, be at the right distance. So you want to be able to let your shoulder relax down. You don't want your shoulder hiked up to your ear. And then we'll bend the right knee, stretch your left leg out, and come right onto the center of that heel. So here you go, John. See if you can take that foot out a little bit more. Not so much the straight one, but the bent knee leg, John. See if you can take that foot more underneath your knee. Yeah, you don't need to keep taking your knee out. You just need to keep taking your foot until it's lined up with your knee. Okay. Yes, that's better. Now, rotate your left leg. Yeah, so the toes are pointing straight up. There you go. Now, grab hold with your left hand to that outer right knee and grow tall first. Get really tall in your spine. Start to turn. Reach for the wall with your right hand. Take a moment, adjust, get used to this position. Everything that is opening, feel it across your chest. So you want to kind of reach your elbows out and away to stretch across the lungs, creating more surface on the lungs and in the chest. Gives your heart some space. Now turn your head back to look towards that left foot. Keep turning your trunk to the right. Don't strain, especially don't strain your neck. And then release. Just come back to the center, bringing the legs back. And then we'll keep that left knee bent. Walk it out to the side a little bit and stretch your right leg out diagonally. And then again, grab hold. Pull that left knee in a little bit. Get really tall. You could even take that left arm up by your ear and get more length, and then turn and put the hand on the wall, turning those fingers back away from you. Just take a little time to get used to this. It can be pretty intense if you really go into it deeply. You just want to kind of breathe and hold. before you try to go any deeper into it. And then turn your head back to the right, but only so much as that you feel a good opening on that left side of your neck. And then release and come back to the center. Whew. Okay, so let's go ahead and move your blocks. You can come back to wherever you normally are. And take your take 2 blankets. Just open up 2 blankets at the back of your mat, stacking the clean edge one on top of the other. And then turn around so that your blankets are behind you. I give everybody a moment to catch up. So, John, if you could take your socks off so you can really feel the bottoms of your feet. You get lots of information from those nerve endings on the bottom of your feet. Plus, it keeps you from slipping. Okay. So let's come down onto our hands and knees and just put your feet, your toes curled under in front of your blankets a little bit. And then pull your shoulder blades down your back as you roll your arm bones out, turn your hands out a little bit. And then lift your knees and your hips and put your heels on your blankets. Then widen your legs as wide as your blankets, which should be as wide as your mat. So try to push the mat forward to get more of your weight into the lower half of your body. Release your heels down if you can. If you need to take more height, fold your blankets over again. Now lift your navel, lift your pubic bones up. Feel your legs. And again, because you have your legs wide, you're going to be naturally wanting to externally rotate your thighs. So really intentionally internally rotate your thighs. Push your hips out. And then come down onto your hands and knees. And turn around. We're going to put our hands on the blankets now with the heels of the hands down and the fingers up on the blankets, but make your arms about as wide again as the blankets. Okay. And then come up onto the knees and kind of walk your knees back a bit. Now roll your arm bones out again. Pull your shoulder blades down. Push now into those blankets. Lift your knees and hips up. Now feel how different this is when you have your hands elevated. Now, if this is too much for your wrists, come back down, put your hands fully on the blankets and go back. Okay, so regardless of which one you're doing, you will feel how much more you have to use your shoulders and how much more the shoulders have to open when they're elevated. So push, push, push back. Really, really getting all of your weight into the back of your legs, or as much as you can. Let your head relax. And then see if you can start to release your outer heels down. Just relax them. I'm not saying get them down to the ground. I'm just saying let them go down. As you let them go down, though, you want to keep pushing up through your pubic bones and your sit bones. And then come down. And come back to standing. Move your blankets out of your way. And you can either use a chair or your blocks for triangle pose. And we're going to go from triangle pose. We'll do around a triangle pose, and then we're going to do Ardha half moon pose. So we're going to do half moon pose the first time with a chair. The second time, we're going to do it with blocks. Okay, so have your blocks handy. Just put them at the back of your mat on each side. And then just come to stand in mountain pose in the middle of your mat. Let's just give the shoulders a roll, helping us to remember we can relax, the head move, let go of any, like any pushing or any of that as we've kind of built up our practice, the poses are getting a little more challenging. And let's now spread our legs, sorry. So we want to internally rotate our thighs. So roll your thighs in. Take your hands back onto the top of the back of your pelvis and gently with your thumbs on your sacrum, encourage your sacrum, your tailbone down. Lift your chest up, pull your elbows back. Relax your neck. Now turn that left leg in any amount more. And then turn your left leg out 90 degrees. So just hold this for a moment. Check your feet. Make sure your heel and your arch are lined up. And then stretch your arms. And turn the palms up. And stretch them all the way up over your ears. Now, as you reach up with your arms, reach up with your spine like you're pulling yourself up out of your legs and out of your feet. So get really, really long so that it makes your kneecaps lift, makes your pelvic floor lift. So John, turn your left leg in a little bit more if you can. More. Do it from way up there. There you go. That's better. Now bring your arms to your shoulder height. Now I want you to reach back with that left hand and soften your right knee. Now we're not going to bend the right knee, but we are going to keep it soft as we now reach out. Now I don't want you to just put your arm down. Keep your arm up as high as your shoulder. Now bring your awareness to your right hip and push it forward and draw that knee back. Now keep reaching. Reach, like you're going to put your side waist on your thigh. Now this is going to challenge both your hips and your legs. Then release your arm and pull it back. Pull your block back to about your calf. Now take your other arm, your left arm, straight up out of the shoulder and pull up and straighten your right leg. Roll your shoulder blades down away from your neck. Now bring your awareness to your right rib cage and roll it to the left. Keep the arm, left arm over the shoulder. Don't let it go back when you roll your ribs up. Now pull up on your legs. Pull all the muscles up. Like you're pulling yourself off the ground. Make this very, very strong, because this is what we need for the next pose. Now soften that front knee. Inhale, come up, turn your feet back forward, come back to mountain pose. Roll your shoulders and draw them back and down again. Let's take the arms forward, interlace your fingers, take the palms away, and then take them overhead. And as you reach up through your thumbs, draw the tailbone down and lift up through your leg muscles. Lift the flesh of your legs up. And then bring the arms back down. And spread your legs apart again. Turn your legs way in. Bring your hands back onto the top of your pelvis. Find your sacrum with your thumbs and pull down, but lift from your pubic bones up to your navel. In other words, don't overarch your low back. Now turn your right leg in, turn your left leg out. Now soften your left knee. Stretch your arms. Let's turn the palms up and take them up again. Pull up. Get it. Go up, 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 up as much as you can. Pulling your side waist up, pelvic floor up, hamstrings up. And then bring the arms to shoulder height, but don't drop the legs. Now reach back through your right arm. And then start to go to the left. Reach. Reach. Feel that left leg working. Woohoo! Yes, get low, get low. Bring your hand to the block. Go ahead and put your right hand on your hip. Just for a moment. Press that left hip forward. Push it forward, push it forward. Roll your chest open. Now re-stretch your right arm. Pull it up to straighten the left leg. Whew. Pull up. Now roll your left thigh out. Now find out where you are in your neck and head. Bring your neck and head in line with the rest of your spine. Don't drop your head. Don't lift your head. We all have our favorites. I typically am always lifting mine, but many people will drop it. Now, pull up through your legs again, up through the pelvic floor. Press that left hip forward. Roll your thighs away from one another. Inhale, come up. Turn your feet back to mountain pose. Okay, so we're going to take Ardha Chandrasana and we're going to use the chair, which seems to be the most challenging part of this pose, done this way. I don't know why I keep insisting on doing it this way, since it seems to be so difficult for people to understand, but I don't know, maybe I'm just masochistic. Get your chair, open it up on your mat on the right side. Okay. Now, face your chair. put your left hand on the back of the chair and your right hand on the front edge of the chair. Lift it up, turn it 1/4 to the left and sit it back down. See, everybody, no matter how simple I make it, how clear I try to make it, it seems like it's still hard. So did you turn your chair to the left, Erin? So if you're facing,
Do you want the front going left or do you want the back going left? That's what's not clear.
Okay, so if you listen to what I said put your left hand on the back of the chair, your right hand on the front of the chair. Lift it up, turn it to the left 1/4 turn.
Oh, that's turning to the right.
No,
If it's
I'm mirroring you. Don't do what I'm doing, do what I say. I'm mirroring you. Okay, so that yours looks like mine. That way I know if you're getting it or not. I'm always mirroring you. So
right, that would be turning the front end to the right from our perspective.
Yes,
That's
but I
what's
said
confusing
turn
me.
it, lift it, and turn it
To the left.
1/4 to the left.
Yes, which is facing to the left, not to the right. So,
Turn your chair around. Okay, so take your legs apart. Nice and wide. Turn your left leg in, right leg out. And your foot should be almost to your chair, but not right up to your chair. And I'm seeing on my camera that it looked like mine was all the way up. Now stretch your arms, soften your front knee, and reach your hand to put it in the chair. Now take your left hand, put it on the back of the chair. Now start to push with that left foot. Push and bring that leg all the way up. Now reach through that left leg. Roll your right leg out. Now, here's the challenging part, even with the chair. Do you let go? Take your arm up. Then bring your hand back to the back of the chair. Bend the front knee. Reach back with that left leg. Straighten it. Inhale, come up. Turn your feet and come back together. Okay, that was good. Do you have any questions? So I'm just gonna say, put your chair on the other end, exactly the same orientation. Okay, good. Okay, standing in mountain pose. Spread those toes, lift up through your inner thighs. Tailbone drops down into that space. Take your arms forward. Non-dominant interlace. Stretch the palms away. Take the arms up. Reach up. And then release. Okay, take the legs wide. Turn your right leg in, left leg out. Stretch your arms. Check your position of your foot to your chair. Just make sure that you're about the right distance, a little away from the chair. Soften your left knee and reach for your chair seat. Now press that left hip forward, pull your right thigh back. Stabilize. Take your right hand to the back of your chair. Now reach your knee, push down into your chair and bring that right leg up. Roll your left thigh out. Roll your right thigh in. Feel your glutes working. And then you decide if you want to try to balance. Those legs have got to really be stable. Hips need to be really stable. Squeeze the outer hips in. Bring your hand back down to the back of your chair. Bend your knee. Reach back, way back. Straighten your front leg. Inhale and come up. Turn your legs forward, back to mountain pose. Sorry, that was a little fast descent. Should we do like this, like they do in the Olympics? Okay, so now we'll do it without the chair. Clearly a little more challenging. So take your blocks back the way that they were, and I would put them up on their high end, on the back of your mat. Now you're going to hear me really emphasize 2 cues once you're up in the pose. That is that you're going to want to keep focusing on your standing leg and rolling it out. The thigh out, not in. It's going to want to go in. Your foot's going to want to turn in. So when you go into the pose even, put your focus there. Standing thigh, front leg, roll it out and keep your foot in exactly the position you put it in when you went into triangle pose. Okay, so that's going to be the primary focus for this. The upper leg needs to reach to make your whole outer body very long. Okay? Okay.
You want your hips open?
Yes, hips are open.
Okay.
So, does that bring up another question? Okay. Take your legs wide. Turn your left leg in more. Turn your right leg out. Notice that when you turn your legs, notice if you turn your pelvis too. Now the pelvis will turn some, but you're really trying to resist that. Okay, so turn your legs back, forward. And when you go to turn your left leg out, kind of mentally try to disconnect it from the pelvis. So come up onto the heel and rotate from your foot, but keep your pelvis going forward. Turn it out and then put the foot down. Okay, the tighter you are in your hips, the harder that is to do, but you want to kind of practice that. Turning the leg without turning the pelvis. Getting too wide here. Okay, so stretch the arms. So soften your right knee, come down and find your block and bring it up to your calf. Stretch your left arm up. Now, your knee is soft. Your right knee is soft. First, pull up on your left thigh. Press it back. Squeeze that buttock, left buttock. Now, keep your right foot straight and go ahead and begin to externally rotate that thigh and straighten the knee. So you will feel it right up into the outer hip. Big time. Now, take your top hand to your hip. Look down at that right foot. You want to keep your eyes there the whole time. Soften your right knee. Take your block in your right hand. Just step it to about the same height as your little toe. Step your left leg in. Now we're gonna go up. So you're gonna reach further out with your arm. So reach it way out there. Now, remember what I said. Come up onto the left toes. Start to roll your left thigh out a lot. And then start to raise your right leg up, lifting it from the outer hip. Now straighten both legs completely. Keep rolling that right thigh out. And if you want to try stretching that left arm up, do that. And then slowly reverse. Bend your knee, put your foot on the floor, walk your hand back. So the coming out is just as important as the going in. So try to do this part too. So everybody should be in triangle pose. Just kind of waiting for everybody to get there. Push down into your feet, draw up through your spine, pull up with your left arm to bring yourself up. Turn your feet, bring them back together. Okay. Looked like everybody did pretty well with that. You know, the weaker you are in your hips, the harder it is. So it is a big hip strengthener. So just be patient, but don't just give up. You know, go if you fall out of it or come out of it, try to go back into it. Just keep urging yourself even tiny baby steps forward. Take your legs wide. I'm going to go a little faster on this side. And turn your legs out. Not that fast. Take your arms out. Now soften your left knee, find your block and bring it up to your calf. And just go ahead and take your, I don't know why I always do this on this side, taking the right hand in, but I do. Okay. Now start to roll your left thigh out. Get that right leg really firm. Roll the left thigh out. Push your left hip forward and re-straighten the knee. Open your chest and stretch that top arm up. Lift up through your pelvic floor. Lift up through the leg muscles. Find your best triangle pose. So try to straighten that front leg, John. Straighten it. Pull it from the outer knee back up into the outer hip. Straighten, straighten, straighten if you can. Any amount. Take the hand to the hip. Look down. Look at that foot. Make sure it's pointing straight ahead. Walk your block just a little forward. Step your right leg in a bit. Step your right arm out more. Left arm, excuse me. Now, come up onto your right toes. Start to roll that left thigh out. Lift your right leg up. Stabilize. Rolling, rolling, rolling the left thigh out. And if you want to stretch your right arm up, do that. And then bend that front knee. Step back with your right foot and bring the block back. Straighten both legs. Triangle pose. Inhale, come up. Turn your feet forward and bring your legs back together. So all that we've done after the warm up, so all these standing poses are really, really change our whole experience in our body, right? We may be feeling a little tireder, just because we've used a lot of energy. Or you may feel invigorated because you used a little energy. So those poses are very transformative for your body. So we're going to take Prasarita Padottanasana, wide leg forward fold. So again, take your blocks, put them in front of you now. And take your hands back onto your pelvis and widen your legs. Lift up through your inner thighs. Draw the buttocks down a bit through with your thumbs and lift your pubic bones up. Lift your chest up, take your head back. Keep pulling down on your pelvis. Pull upwards through your front body. Now come forward, keep the head up, keep the head up. Come to about halfway. Elbows lifting to the ceiling, lifting, lift your legs, lift your legs. Now stay right here in the middle. Release your arms down, find your blocks. Roll your arm bones out. So up high at your shoulders, roll out. Take a few breaths, lift your belly if you're dropping it. Lift those inner groins if you're dropping them. Lift your arches. Now, push out through your feet. Again, re-engage your legs. Take your hands back up to your pelvis. Elbows up. Pull up through your legs. Pull down with your hands on your buttocks to bring yourself back up. Heel toe, back to mountain pose and drop your arms. Wow. Okay, let's move the blocks. We're going to come down onto our back. Feels so good. And bring your arms into a T right out of your shoulders. And roll those shoulder blades down onto your rib cage so that the palms are turned up. Your shoulders are away from your ears. And you can feel your shoulder blades on the ground. Now bring your inner feet together. Press your low back to the floor, pull your knees into your chest. Then pull your toes back towards your shins. Press all 10 fingernails down into the ground as well as your elbows, but don't let your low back pop up. Keep the low back down. Take an inhale. As you exhale, pull your knees in even closer. Roll onto the outer right hip, pulling your knees up towards your armpit. Don't go all the way to the floor. Hover. Push down with your right arm and your left outer shoulder blade. Come back. Take a breath. Relax. Exhale, pull your knees in close, and now go to the left. Rolling to the outer left hip. Keep that right shoulder blade down. Hover above the ground with your knees. Push down now with your left arm, come back. Put your feet back on the ground. Relax. And we're going to do that again. This time, you're gonna do it on your own. Okay, so you can hover a little longer, you can, just do it on your own. I'll get you started. Press those shoulder blades down, press your low back down, exhale and pull your knees in. From here, you're on your own. Notice how much you need to use your shoulders or control your shoulders to help you to maintain stability in the lower part. When you finish, put your feet back on the floor and bring your arms by your sides. Go ahead and let your legs stretch out for a moment. Just relax them. Now re-bend your knees. Lift your hips a little bit. Roll your right arm out from the shoulder. So roll it out as much as you can and tuck it underneath you. Then turn the palm. Only the palm turns down. Rest of the arm is still turning out. Now roll to the outer right arm. Do the same thing with the left. Roll it way out. Pull it underneath you. Then roll the palm back. Now lower your hips. Don't let go of your shoulders. Keep them rolled out. They'll roll in a bit, but do the best you can. Keep them rolling out. Chest is lifted. Spread your fingers. Now, push your sacrum down into the floor. Draw from your knees back up into your groin. Now push down with your feet. Lift your hips up. Keep drawing from your inner knees to your inner groins. Pull back with those inner thighs. Push down with your arms. Don't let them roll in. Keep them out. Push up through your tailbone. Keep your knees over your heels. Don't let them widen. Press down from the shoulders. Now slowly roll down. Release your arms. Take your arms and stretch them overhead. Now, with your arms stretched overhead, push your fingernails into the floor. Now press your low back into the floor and just feel your abdominal muscles engaging to do that. And then breathe while you hold it. Be mindful of your neck. Don't over tense your neck. Arms are very active. The inner body is soft, relaxed. And then release your arms back by your sides again. So let's turn over, come into a child's pose. And then let's come up, get at least a blanket, maybe two. And I say maybe two, the tighter your hamstrings and your hips are, the higher you want to be. Okay. And then we're going to sit in Sukhasana on the blanket or blankets. Just make sure your sit bones are on the blankets, not the thighs, not the back of the thighs necessarily. And then with your hands on your knees, so really try to wrap your fingers all the way over the front of the knees, like you're grabbing a doorknob or something. And then lean back and lift your chest up, lift your chin up, do a little bit of a back bend. So make sure if you have a tendency to be a little, you know, can't think of the word. If you're tweaky in your back, I guess I'd say, make sure you're using your front body. Now, don't change the position of your trunk, but bring your head back and actually draw your chin toward your chest. Now, hold this position of your trunk as you let go with your hands, and just take your hands beside your hips. Now stretch your right leg straight out and leave your left knee bent. Push down with your hands. Try to keep that length, keep those arm bones back. Now walk your hands back towards the back of your blanket. Almost like you're, giving yourself legs, more legs. Push down with your arms as you roll them out and reach through your right leg. Pull back on your right toes though. Now reach the left knee to the left. Now start to go forward. Keep your hands back. Don't bring your arms forward. Keep your arms back. Press your right leg down. Bring your chin to your chest and pull your chest forward towards your chin. Keep your navel up. Now take your arms forward. Find your leg or your foot. Don't change your back. Relax your shoulders. Draw your navel back and up and go any amount more forward. Pull from your chest, not your head, not your arms. Pull from your chest. Chest and chest again. Let your elbows move away from one another and lift up towards the ceiling. And then drop your head down. Inhale, come halfway up with the elbows straight. Lift your chin, arch your back. Stay firm in your core as you come back and bend that right knee. Take your hands beside your hips and lift up again. Roll your arm bones out so that the shoulder blades go towards one another. And then let's stretch the left leg out. Right foot rests on the inside of the left thigh. Walk your hands back behind you now. Reach back there. Roll those shoulder blades down. Now lift your chin up. But you want to lift your chin up by lifting all the way down from your pubic bones up. Stretch it all the way. Not just the head goes back, but the whole front body goes back. Now walk your hands forward. Keep the length. Keep the length. Walk the hands towards the hips. Then when you've gotten there, reach your arms forward beyond your foot. Beyond your foot. Pull that front body long. Pull the front body long. Let the elbows start to go out if they need to. And lower yourself as close to your leg as makes sense. And breathe. Now, reach again, looking forward. Inhale, come up. Arms up this time. Reach, 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 reach. Release the arms by your hips. Lift the spine up. And now come back to Sukhasana. And release your hands to your thighs or your knees. Okay, one last pose before we rest. Stretch both legs forward. Take your hands by your hips and push down to lift the front body up. Roll your arm bones out. Roll them out strongly, strongly. Start to turn the hands because the shoulders are rolling out so much. You need to turn your hands out. Lift up from your pubic bones, up through your low belly, up into your navel, up into your ribs, lift your sternum. Walk your hands towards your hips as you push forward with your chest. Really reaching, press the legs down, press the legs down. Again, one more time, lift your pubic bones towards your navel. Don't let that area drop, it'll go right into your low back. So lift the pubic bones, pull them up to your navel. From your navel, pull to your sternum. Now bring your arms forward, reach beyond your feet. Reach, reach, pull your chin forward, and then relax all the way into it. So when I say relax, I mean to relax your mind, relax your inner body. Your legs are still really, really working, still pressing, still contracted in the front of them. So don't hear my relax as a meaning to collapse. I just mean you're there. You can quit using your mind so much and just relax your mind and be in the pose. Feel it. Feel what's working. Feel where you need to reactivate. Feel where you're carrying the stress. Now reach more forward of your feet. Inhale, come up. Stretch up with your arms. Lift your low belly up. Pull your navel in. And then exhale the arms down. And just place them by your hips. And then cross the legs with your non-dominant leg in front now. Okay. Get your bolster. And put your bolster lengthwise on your mat. And then get 2 blankets, preferably blankets that are similar in thickness. And fold them into a long fold, narrow fold. And just put them on either side, kind of perpendicular out of the sides of your bolster. Making kind of a cross. And then we're going to sit with the bolster to our back. And you want to kind of pull yourself back so that when you lay back, it's the bottom of your ribs that are on the end of your bolster. So find that place. So it's not your low back at all. It's up almost to your shoulder blades, but really actually your ribs go down a whole lot further than that. So I would say, right under your chest on the front, that's the spot on your back that you want to be resting. Okay. And then just take your head back, and those blankets hopefully are there to keep from overstretching your shoulders or your chest. With the knees still bent, lift the pelvis up a little bit, just barely, and pull the tailbone forward, and then relax. If this is too much on your neck, it's really causing a big arch in your neck, feel free to get another blanket to put under your head. Now, as you're here, just relax and breathe. Feel your breath. Feel those floating ribs on the front of your body expand and pull away from one another. There's a reason why they're floating and they're not connected to your sternum. So it really allows, when you take an inhale, for that breath to get all the way down to the bottom of your lungs. So really let that expansion happen as you inhale. And then as you exhale, just relax. Take a few breaths like that, really feeling that opening at the base of your ribs. Feeling the breath getting all the way down. And then relaxing back. A couple of more breaths like that. Now go to breathing naturally. Relax your spine. Try not to resist the bolster, but let the bolster kind of merge with your body, with the ground. Just another few moments here, and then we'll switch into Shavasana. Okay, so just carefully roll over off your bolster to the right, and then push yourself up. And you've got your bolster right there if you want it under your knees. You might want to try without first, just to see if you are keeping your back fairly relaxed throughout your practice, so that you're not needing to prop your knees in order to open your back. So you might just at least try. I know having the bolster under the knees is very comforting and feels really good. So what I'm suggesting is just that you give it a try without the bolster first, and just see how it feels. See if your back can relax without the bolster. And then it's up to you. If your back won't relax, by all means use the bolster. Or if you just think you would relax more deeply with the bolster, take the bolster. And then you relax. So I just looked at the clock. We are over time, and I apologize. I never think that I can't get through everything I want to get through. Half the time I'm leaving several poses out. So thank you for staying with me, for those of you that did. And I wish you a wonderful weekend. And I won't see you Thanksgiving Day. So, well, some of you I will. But have a great holiday. Take good care. Bye-bye.